I know you remember that when this all started to come about there in Miami, Richie Incognito's teammates outside of Jonathan Martin were almost unanimously in support of Incognito. Do you feel like that's how he will be received if he gets a job again here this season in the NFL by his teammates?
You just saw how he would be received. What Lovie Smith has said already paved the way. I mean, I think that as far as his acceptance in a locker room or his potential acceptance in a locker room, you know, that barrier has already been cleared. In essence, it's a fait accompli. If he's going to be accepted by Lovie Smith, there's not another head coach out there who could not accept him. Ultimately, you know, a team is going to be predisposed to accept Richie Incognito based on need, but ultimately how he is accepted within the locker room will be based, like it always is, on performance. But a couple of words on the politics of forgiveness here and the prevailing standards. This time last year, we were talking about Riley Cooper, a young player without much of a resume who had done something we thought might be beyond forgiveness. There was a question whether or not he should be banished by the Philadelphia Eagles. A year later, the guy has a new contract.
Right, a big one.
So I'm not speaking before or against Riley Cooper. I'm just let's look at the realities of the situation. In Dallas, Josh Brent, convicted of intoxication manslaughter, not of a stranger, not of someone who was abstract to the Cowboys, but a teammate. The Cowboys have already said when his punishment ends from the league, they will clear a roster space for him. So I think that when you consider this in context, what Richie Incognito has done or not done, and that was in some measure not just about Richie Incognito, of course, but about locker room culture.
Yes.
In which, let's be frank about it, coaches are complicit. The idea that football can't welcome back or can't harbor someone like Richie Incognito is a fallacy.
It happens all the time. I'll give you a great example. I can remember when I was playing and they brought in a guy by the name of Darryl Gardner. And he came from one of the biggest men I've ever seen in my life. He came in from Miami, and that was all people talked about. Should we bring him in? Should we sign the guy? He's a head case, this and that, da. Let me tell you something. I met Darryl Gardner, and we were close from day one, and everybody seemed to grow and build a relationship with him. He ended up being the
dude was a beast too.
He not only was the defense, he was the MVP of our team that season. He was the MVP of our team and one of the most positive contributors in our locker room that season, Darryl Gardner, and had one of my best seasons because of how well he played at his position. So it certainly can work. And guys we understand. One thing about locker rooms that I think is one of the coolest things and one of the things that most guys miss is the ability to forgive, forget, understand, and move on from it. I think so many times in society we have such a hard time from moving on from things. You did this. I hate you forever. You can't do that. I can't believe you. You go in the locker room, man, I messed up.
You know what?
Let it go. You know, be better.
After a while, it's hard to save a guy who throws a block. It's hard to continue to punish a guy who throws a block that saves you know what.
Yeah.
And you can't stay mad at a guy if he helps you win, right?